A floor vote sends the Senate redistricting plans to the House, but will it make a stop in the courts? A costly measure to undermine unions, and university presidents face an informal grilling. Hello, I'm Joanne McCall, Vice President of the Florida Education Association, and welcome to Week 2 of the FEA Frontline Video Report. Following a contentious floor debate, the full Senate voted to approve its first proposed redistricting and reapportionment maps for Florida's House and Senate districts and congressional seats. Senate Democrats expressed their opposition to the Senate's plans, saying they violate the constitutional standards set in Amendments 5 and 6 to draw fairer districts. Members questioned Senator Don Gates, chair of the Reapportionment Subcommittee, over how the lines were redrawn. Minority Leader Nan Rich charged the proposed maps favor incumbents and political parties, and if approved, will disenfranchise minority voters. But Republican leaders say voting against the plan will hurt minority districts.
For too long, the so-called protection of minority voters has been used by this legislature as a pretext to draw seats that preserve incumbency and advance the interests of a particular political party.
But Senator Gates responded, saying the maps are consistent with public input and decrease the number of split counties and cities, while keeping rural communities together. Republican members slammed Democratic leaders, saying an amendment could have been filed to challenge the Senate's proposal, but no alternatives have been offered. The bills moved to the House, where legislative leaders hope to get a final plan by the end of the month. The maps then head to the Florida Supreme Court as required, and the congressional map will go to the governor for his signature. It could be a roundabout way to undermine our union. Members of the Civil Justice Subcommittee heard testimony on the Teacher Protection Act. The bill allows for a teacher to seek help from the state attorney general if they are sued for enforcing school district disciplinary policies. But the proposed legislation is unnecessary because under current Florida statute, teachers are automatically immune from such liability. Even if a school district is sued, a teacher cannot be called as a defendant in the lawsuit.
This bill is unfunded. Whether it's $2.1 million or $200,000, it's unfunded. Where are you going to get the money? Who's going to be without $2.1 million or $200,000 or whatever it happens to be? If you have that extra money, I have two suggestions for you. One, you could refund the Dale Hickomack, which was the best merit pay plan that we ever had for classroom teachers, or you could divide it amongst all of the districts.
You pass this bill, you're going to create a mechanism where instead of dealing with one certified bargaining representative, what you're going to have is school districts having to answer to Penn and other rump groups of dissident teachers who now suddenly decide that they want to come in.
If passed, the bill could make it easier for organizations such as the Professional Educators Network, also known as Penn, to expand. The proposal modifies the legal definition of employee organization in law to exclude professional teacher associations that do not register as collective bargaining agents. The legislation could cost the state an estimated $2.1 million a year. There have been grumblings that changes are coming to higher education. House Speaker Dean Cannon alluded to the need to overhaul the system in his opening remarks, and legislative leaders have talked about applying measures of accountability and the elimination of tenure to Florida's universities and colleges. Some are calling it an inquisition. University presidents from across the state have been called to the Capitol to testify before the House Education Committee. Chairman Bill Proctor is leading the discussion on higher education issues. Lawmakers are looking for ways to make the state university system more effective and boost the number of students graduating with degrees in science, technology, engineering, and math, also known as STEM degrees. Last week, the presidents from the University of Florida and Florida State responded to the first round of questions that could lay the groundwork for future higher education reform.
If I charged instantly the average tuition, public university tuition in this country, I could double every STEM program at Florida State University and have money left over. There's only one or two other universities in that category that have a lower tuition rate than Florida State and Florida.
FSU President Eric Barron favors raising tuition for STEM programs, but lawmakers are concerned higher tuition fees will discourage students from seeking STEM degrees. Legislators have suggested that the universities are not doing a good job finding higher paying employment for STEM graduates. Make sure to check out the feaweb.org for the latest information on the legislative session. While you are there, sign up for FEA's Take Action alerts and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. But before we leave, we want to share the FEA Bill Watch List. These are important proposals that we need to carefully monitor throughout the legislative session. Make sure to stay up to date with the FEA Frontline video report. We'll see you again next week.